Welcome back to another episode of There Will Be Bond podcast, episode 83, the Golden Bullet Award-nominated podcast, taping this on the 8th of May, VE Day, no doubt.
80th anniversary of VE Day.
80th anniversary, a very important day.
And it's historic because it's the day we get a new pope.
Got a new pope.
We had some white smoke. They haven't said who it is yet.
Is it Stanley Tucci or Ralph Fiennes?
Do you know, isn't that funny that Conclave has come out to stream this week? And that's what that's all about. How weird is that?
Timing.
Yeah.
Well, not exactly weird. Clever, I would say.
Yeah.
Terrible film.
But they didn't know that was going to happen when they planned it.
Have you seen it?
No.
No, don't worry.
Really?
It's really not.
Oh, no.
Well, look, I think you have to be into that kind of stuff. You have to be interested in religion.
Oh,
you have
really?
Yeah.
Because Ray Fiennes is brilliant in everything he does.
He is, and so is Stanley Tucci, and so is John Lithgow, and this was a complete bore fest. And I could not stand... I watched about an hour and a half of it, and then I gave in.
Maybe I won't bother then.
I wouldn't.
But yes.
Watch Cliffhanger instead. You still haven't seen that, have you?
I might have done a long time ago. I can't remember.
God, we just talked about it on the podcast, Rob. You must remember. Anyway, we're off to a terrible start, but this is coming out a day later than normal, so soz about that. Jet lag is a thing. Burst water pipes are a thing. Vintage cars being left in gear at the workshop. They're all things
Not
that
by
happen.
me.
Not by you, I should say.
No.
On the agenda today, we are covering minutes 103 and 104 of Casino Royale. And with me over there is Rob Smith. How are we doing today, Rob?
I'm very well, thank you, Pete.
And have you been up to anything Bondian whilst I've been away, Rob?
I have.
Ooh.
I have. And you saw on social media, I went to the Hurlingham Club in Fulham. Have you been to the Hurlingham Club?
No.
Do you know the Hurlingham Club?
Only through what you posted, but please, divulge.
You hadn't heard of it before?
No.
Oh, right.
No, I thought you would have got that on my first note.
It's well, I mean, I thought everyone knows the Hurlingham Club. I mean, you live in London. You live in West London, for God's sake.
Okay.
It's in Fulham, so not too far away.
Okay.
And it's a private members club. And it's very, very exclusive. Very exclusive. And I went along with my mum's old school friend, Harriet Graham, née Wolfett, daughter of Sir Donald Wolfett, very famous thespian, who Roger Moore talked about in his autobiography.
What films was he in?
Oh, I can't remember. He's a stage actor. He's more of a stage actor. But
What
he's very
plays?
well
What
known.
plays were he in?
Oh, everything. All Shakespearean stuff.
Name one I might have heard of, maybe.
What, King Lear? Hamlet? Merchant of Venice. He's done them all. Anyway,
I'm sure.
Yes. So she's very well to do because she had this thespian, Sir Donald Wolfett, who was knighted. So she's a member. So that's how I got in, because I had lunch with her. She's nearly 90. She drove. And she parked very well, I might add. And my godmother, Deirdre, lovely Deirdre, mum's best friend at school, who introduced my parents. So it's all her fault that I'm here. And she is 90. So I was sat with two nonagenarians having lunch.
Nonagenarians.
Yes.
That's a thing, isn't
That's
it?
what you call people in their 90s.
I get that, yeah. I get that.
You don't hear it very often.
Exactly.
When I have to buy birthday cards, it's like, there aren't many 90 cards, are there?
Yeah.
But, it's the reason it is Bondian is because Fleming was a member, I believe, from 1944 until his death in 1964. So 20 years he frequented it. And it was well known as a popular gathering place for high-ranking MI6 officers. Apparently it served as a venue for social events and recruiting. And it really did provide a glimpse into the London scene that inspired the Bond novels that Fleming witnessed firsthand, I would say. So it's a very beautiful place. It's a lovely place to go. It's vast. For that close to London, it's got huge grounds. They do polo there. The King has often played polo there.
Of course.
Yes,
Of course.
there's polo. They were doing croquet on the lawn when I was there. It's very sort of old colonial type place.
So did you know that Fleming went there before you went? Or did you Google afterwards?
I Googled afterwards.
Okay. Did they have anything there that said, hey, Fleming was here?
No.
There's a picture of him on the banister.
Not that I saw.
Right.
There's all polo stuff everywhere.
Okay.
But I did think this is the sort of place he would be a member. I thought, I wonder if he was. So I looked it up, and sure enough, he was.
That's amazing.
And then this other stuff came up that I've just recounted to you about it. So it doesn't surprise me because it's exactly the sort of place that those people would go to, and I'm surprised that Bond wasn't a member actually.
Yeah, well. Look, I've never heard of the club, so well done. And it would be interesting if they have archives. I'm sure they have a registry being a club.
Well, let's find out. See if we've got another Dukes on our hands or not.
I think you should go. I think you should call up Harriet and go, God, I'd love another sandwich and a bit of croquet.
Well, do you know what? It costs her a fortune to be a member, and they've just put it up. She used to have senior membership, and they've got rid of that now. And
how much is it now?
I don't know. She didn't say a lot. She said she has to go at least 17 times a year
to get
cover
value.
the cost of it. Yeah,
right. Okay.
So I think we'll go back.
Yeah,
soon. I'll go and grill the staff.
Definitely. Maybe you could, a bit like Necros did
be a
in
reporter.
Living Daylights.
I could do a little video, couldn't I? I wonder if they probably wouldn't allow that.
Did you get my grilling joke?
Yes, I did.
Necros,
yes.
Living Daylights.
Yes,
Going to grill the staff.
Yes, I know. Very good.
Thank you.
So that was my Bondian thing. What about you, Pete?
I like it. I like that one.
Good.
Yeah, well, so just got back from Florida.
Oh, yes.
Yes, so did a couple of Bondian things out there. Went to...
And yet Bond hasn't been to Florida, has he?
Ooh, well, yes, he has. Yes, he has, Rob. He's been to St. Port Lucie. I guess not. It doubled.
So he's been to Miami Beach. Is that in Florida?
Yeah.
The
Fontainebleau, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, no. I beg his pardon.
So it's kind of like has he, hasn't he? Because in Goldfinger... That's all filmed on the set, Sean Connery, and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, but
second
you see
production
the opening shot of Miami
all the second
Beach.
production is Fontainebleau and all that. And
And
then in Moonraker, the boat race where he's racing away from Jaws, that's shot in St. Port Lucie.
Yes.
But it doubles for the Amazon.
It does, yeah.
So,
it's not like, hey, guys, we're in Florida.
Yeah. Anyway, I've captured that. I've done a little video. I even interviewed the woman that did the tour. I got her on camera and stuff, so I'll upload that to the YouTube over time. So we'll
this is where they film Moonraker.
Yeah,
okay.
But so it was funny. So they start talking about Moonraker during the tour on the boat, right?
Mm.
And I start filming, and then it's about 2 minutes of them talking Moonraker. I then send the footage to Phil Latchford, right? I said, Phil, here we go. This is an exclusive for you. I'm not going to share it. Well, not for a few weeks anyway, but this is for you. And then he messages back and goes, yeah, that's not right. I was like, well, what do you mean not? She goes, yeah, because she starts talking about Cape Canaveral was used for the shuttle launches and stuff like that, but that was all based out in California. And I said, Phil, where's your proof, damn it? And then he started showing me all the call sheets and sending me all that.
Yes.
I should have known
Don't
better.
get him started.
So, the Daily Moonraker, Mr. Phil Latchford.
Philip. If you want to know
Latchford.
anything about Moonraker, he's your man.
Yeah, he should be giving the tours, really.
He should.
But,
okay.
So that was my one Anything Bondian. I did want to do another Anything Bondian.
Well,
or shall I push that?
You nearly got eaten by an alligator. I think that's pretty Bondian.
I'll do that in the Patreon show. I did have a very...
I think, really?
You want me to do it now?
We've left the listeners dangling now.
Okay, well, let's... All right.
Briefly, you really did... It was very Bondian, what you did, you had to do.
So, we did the airboat tour after the riverboat tour. We did an airboat tour of a separate company, still in Florida. I don't know if you've seen these airboats.
They're
big.
They had them in Gentle Ben.
Yes, exactly. Thank you. So they kind of
His dad used to drive one in Gentle Ben.
So it's like a boat, but there's no rudder or propeller in the water. It's all driven by like this huge fan propeller at the back. Yeah. Anyway, so we're skiing along.
It's got like a cage, isn't it?
Yeah. It's all protected by a cage. And do you know why? Because people's hats fly off and
and
Anastasia's cap flew off.
Oh shit!
And hit the cage of the propeller.
Oh my god!
Of the fan thing, and
then did it land in the boat? So
landed in the boat. Yeah, it's all fine.
Good.
It's all fine. So anyway, we get halfway into the trip, and this guy is driving this thing like a fucking bat out of hell. By the way, he's driving it like he's just nicked it. He's like, everyone's hanging on for dear life. He could have done. And he goes, right, we're just going to near the bend here. There's going to be, I won't do the accent, but there's going to be a mother alligator around the corner here, and it's a bit shallow. So everyone, get your cameras ready, but hold tight at the same time. Like, this is going to be exciting. And he skis around this bend. So he completely beaches this thing, lands right into the middle of the dry land, and we're stranded. The boat has berthed, I guess, is the phrase. So it's like, right, everybody off the boat.
Huh? Into the mud.
Yeah. So I'm thinking this is actually very Roger Moore Live and Let Die moment. You know, and that to me, that Live and Let Die moment, out of all the Bondian deaths, I think would have been the most gruesome.
Oh,
like
horrific.
if that played out
Horrific.
for real,
Yeah,
that would have been horrible.
yeah.
Right.
If he just got being eaten on that little island.
Yeah. Just kind of
What a way to go.
waiting to be eaten as well.
And
like,
then you'd be conscious of it while it's happening as well, so you'd feel everything.
oh yeah, but then you'd be getting pulled and you'd be dragged under,
Oh,
and then
God,
you'd be.
no.
It would be like the Raiders.
You just
death.
want it to
you know
end.
when they kill the people at the end of Temple of Doom, and there's loads of alligators. They go across the rickety bridge, and Harrison Ford. No,
I can't remember. It was
Anyway.
years ago.
So I don't know what the collective noun is for alligators. Pack of alligators.
I don't
but
know.
he gets ripped apart by a pack of alligators. Anyway, so I'm thinking, fuck, this is going to be my fate.
Yeah.
I'm going to be ripped
Yeah.
apart.
Yeah.
Like,
This is
yeah,
terrifying.
it's really. And as we're pushing the boat out, so all the women go to the bank, right? And I say to Anastasia, look, if I'm going to die out here, I want it to be on fucking YouTube, and I want to get the royalties. Like at least cash in on this, right? So I give her the camera and say, right, you
film if an alligator appears, starts gnawing on our legs.
Exactly.
Make sure you get it on film, love.
So I'm pushing it, and we managed to free it up. Me and two other guys, we're pushing this thing with all of our might, and the driver as well. So all the guys are good. There's like one old timer, but he's like a real burly old timer. You know, he's
Oh
like
yeah.
roll the sleeves up old
Yes,
timer. He's
I
like-
can imagine from Florida. Yes.
And one guy from Switzerland who doesn't speak much English, but he's got the tattoos and the heavy build. I'm like,
Okay.
good couple of dudes to be around actually in a
Yes.
crisis. Yeah. So we're shoving this boat in.
And they've got more meat on them, so
Yeah.
the alligator would go for them
exactly.
first.
Yeah, exactly. I'll be like throwing them in front.
Yeah.
So get this fucking thing, get the boat out. He manages to get it onto the water, but he goes, right, guys, everyone, I'm going to drive up the bank here, so you circle back, get on the bank. And so we basically got to walk around to get on the bank to get and board the boat again. And as we do, I'm looking at on the ground, I'm seeing all these huge, huge alligator paws. Again, I've managed to
Fucking nuts.
film this, right? So like
Proper
yeah.
footprints.
Yeah, I don't know what...
Like dinosaur
I don't-
footprints, because they're almost like dinosaurs, aren't they? Reptile things.
I don't know what they are, paws or hooves or whatever they're
Claws?
called. Claws, maybe. Claws.
Yeah.
Whatever they are,
Feet.
they were fucking nearly as big as my footprint. And
Yeah.
that's how I knew. I'm like,
Yeah.
this is not
it's like,
this is not one of the babies. This is one of the mothers.
Jesus Christ, that's scary.
So I'm like, oh, fucking let's get out of here. And then as I think that, I could just hear around the corner this dark, monstrous rumbling going...
Yeah, that's the noise they make.
And I'm like, honestly, it was
They sort
terrifying.
of growl, don't they? Go,
Yeah, but it's not
like
like
that.
any
That's
other.
their noise.
It's not like any other growl. It's not like a lion's growl.
No, I know.
It's not a dog.
Yeah.
It's of its
It's very
own.
specific.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's frightening.
I know.
And if you're in the middle of a dry river,
Yeah.
and this is the
That's
thing
not
as well.
what you want to hear.
I'm struggling to actually run away because your feet are almost in quicksand with the
You're
silt,
getting
right?
stuck in the
And
mud.
I'm getting stuck. Come,
Oh my
come.
God.
And I could hear someone behind me. I think it was one of the chicks goes, "Huh? Did you hear that raccoon?" I was like, "Raccoon?
That's not a raccoon.
And by the way, I've now turned into full. You won't get this reference, but I've turned into full-on Billy from Predator. You know, I'm like, there's something out there for us, and it ain't no raccoon. You know, I'm drawing a Bowie knife across my chest, and I've got my fucking top off, tied in a bandana, and
Yeah.
I'm putting the silt on my face, and I'm ready. No, I'm not ready.
No.
But that's
You just run and get the hell out of there.
we managed to sprint, and I'm like, come on, everyone. And we fucking get on the boat, and then we set off. And then literally, as we set off, I'm like, fucking hell, that's fucking...
And so it did move. You managed to
Managed
get
to
it off
get
the
off,
mud. Thank God for that.
We then got like 50 yards downstream, and this 13, 14-foot alligator, the driver said, look at that one. And it was massive. I mean, I couldn't get my phone out in time to record it, but it was huge, like the length of the boat.
Oh my
almost.
God. Oh my God. Imagine being eaten by that.
Yeah,
That's terrifying.
yeah, it's fucking terrifying.
Well, I think
right?
that's pretty Bondian, Pete. I think that goes down in the history
Of
files.
the- yeah, that's
as one of the most Bondian things you've ever done.
Yeah. When we got back to land, So the owner goes, look, the alligators would never go near you. Don't worry, the alligators would never go. And I'm like, fuck off, mate.
Yeah, yeah.
We're in their patch.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Alligators don't roll up on the 320 to Fulham and surprise you at the office. No, but they will fucking...
The Hurlingham Club.
Thank you.
Hello.
If you do so happen
Can
to
I
be
pop in for lunch?
knee deep in bloody silt
It's-
and like you're looking at them in the eye, then they might come and see what's going on.
It's funny. So between us, we have done this week, with your Bondian thing and my Bondian thing, we've covered the two extremes of Bond. So you've been out fighting with alligators in swamps.
Yeah,
So
literally.
you've done the action bit, and I've done the sort of suave, sophisticated London lifestyle thing.
Yeah.
At the Hurlingham Club
Tea
in
and
Fulham.
croquet, cucumber
And
sandwiches.
Lunch. Well, it was lunch we had actually. It was very nice. Quiche. We had quiche.
Ooh, quiche de la
Yeah,
reine.
quiche de Cabernet could have been.
Oh, quiche de Cabernet.
Yes. Well, it was salmon and cheese and salmon and mushroom. I can't remember.
Make it up.
It had
no one's
salmon in it.
no one's gonna.
No, it was
fucking-
very nice. It was very nice. Lovely conservatory outlook onto. So while I was sitting there eating my quiche, you were fighting alligators.
Yeah.
So interesting.
So look, I managed to get the footage. Sorry I didn't die or anyone else didn't die. So it's not like sensational.
Oh,
but it's
what would
still-
I have done if I'd lost my podcasting partner? That would have been sad.
All right, okay, that's enough of that.
Yeah.
Shall we, Rob, get on to the minutes
I
of
think we
Casino
should,
Royale? Can you
yes.
remember where we left it?
Wasn't he? He was playing, and it was all getting very tense.
So
And it looked like Le Chiffre had the upper hand, didn't it?
yes, well, yes, because we've seen his hand.
Yeah.
The audience knows.
And he's looking very confident.
And I believe he's about to-
chuckling to himself.
I believe he's about to lay down that monster
Yeah.
hand. Let's pick it up now and see how we get on.
Higher from house. Ace is full of sixes.
What a hand from Le Chiffre. Full house.
Monsieur Bond.
Over to you. Eat that.
A 5 and 7 of spades. A straight flush. 4 to the 8. A high hand.
Nice.
Monsieur Bond, wait.
Oh, Rob, we got there. We got to the end of the game.
Finally.
Wow.
Jesus Christ, it's been painful.
We
Thank
made it.
God we
Everyone.
don't have to do that again.
We should be drinking. We should actually have a
we
drink
should
in our
be
house.
celebrating, but you're
Celebrate-
detoxing from your holiday.
No. So well, anyway, your highlights. The highlights for you, Rob.
Well, Monsieur Bond wins, doesn't he? And Le Chiffre loses everything.
He does.
It's Maz's face is brilliant, isn't it?
Do you know who's-
that sheer horror? that
Krat's
he's been
face.
beaten
Yeah.
after that confidence that he showed.
If you look at Krat's face in the background as well, the bald fella.
Oh, yeah.
His face is also one of terror.
Oh,
Yeah.
do you know I did notice that?
You did.
No, I didn't.
Yeah. Well,
I'll have
when
to
you
go back
rewind it
and
back,
look at
he's
that.
like he's stunned. Anyway.
Yeah, because initially Bond's hand doesn't look that great, does it? But then when the dealer sort of puts it out as a straight flush, we realise that it is a high hand. It's only when he puts it out and we can see,
Yeah.
ooh,
Yeah.
that actually looks pretty good. Is that going to... Because on its own, it's like, is that good? Is that a good hand, you know?
Yeah, because it's not cinematic, is it?
No.
It's not like double aces.
No,
or anything
not
like
at
that.
all.
Yeah.
It's only because it matches the other cards that were already on the table to get a straight flush.
Well, Phil Mayhew mentions this in the Blu-ray commentary when he goes, initially it looks like a losing hand,
Yes.
and in order to inform the audience that he's won, we had to overlay like this applause and this ripple of applause.
That's right. Yes. Yes.
Which kind of makes
exactly.
sense.
And it's good that they did that.
Yep.
Definitely.
Yep.
Yeah. And I think also on the commentary, Martin Campbell talked about how he studied the card game in the film Maverick, which funnily enough was also edited by Stuart Baird. And he studied The Sting. Have you seen The Sting? My dad used to love that film.
Seen it?
Yeah. great film.
Good film.
So
Robert Shaw, Red Grant in it
yes.
as well. Yeah.
So I think he watched all these other films with card games to sort of see what they did and how they were edited and that sort of thing to help with how they should do this. So I thought was quite interesting.
Is that on the Blu-ray commentary?
Yeah.
I don't think it is.
Yeah.
Not on my Blu-ray.
Yeah, it is. It's on the.
Have you got
a little picture with him and Michael G. Wilson chatting?
You get a
Talk
picture
about
with it as well?
Yeah, sort of picture in picture.
Why is it
Maybe my Blu-ray is better than yours.
It sounds like it is.
I've got two commentaries. I've got the crew one, and then I've got the one with Michael G. and Martin Campbell, and they're sat in the room, and it's like a superimposed picture in the corner with them watching the film, chatting.
All right, I'm gonna have to look into this. We need to get to the bottom of this because I don't think I've got that, and we're now into the 100-odd minute.
Oh dear!
And you've been holding back on me.
Well, I naturally assumed you'd have the best copy available. Clearly, you don't.
I thought we shared everything.
Clearly, you don't.
Okay. Fair enough.
But no, I mean it's a great minute, isn't it? Because Bond wins, and it's Mads is just like, fuck, what do I do now?
I know.
Oh my god, they're coming for me.
It's that face is like one of cold terror, but then Bond is not gloating in terms of he's not like
he's not.
He's just almost matter of fact going. Yeah, this was always going to happen.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's brilliant.
Yeah, and the casual tip to the croupier as well.
Which no, that's because that is half. Well, that's in the next minute, I think, isn't it?
Well, he just slides it over and goes for you, and then
isn't that in the next minute?
No, it's in. Well, I froze it just on that. It splits almost. It splits. So he's already said for you.
Yeah,
and then
I think in the next minute is when he says
goes, thank you. Yeah.
And he goes thank you. Yeah, because I've got that written down to talk about in the next minute.
All right. Do you want to do that? Do you want to do that in the next minute?
Yes, I think we should.
All right. Yes. Well, so we're there. We're there. Rob. So this was quite the ordeal.
It was, wasn't it?
I know there was 1 minute where it was just check.
Oh
check,
God,
check,
I know.
Check.
I know. But you knew this when you took it on.
No, I don't know if
We've still got all the end credits to get through.
We're not doing anything. No way. As soon as he says Bond, James, in fact, I'm going to cut him off mid-sentence. I'm like, the name's, but I'm done. Let's get the fuck out of here.
Oh no, but we've got to listen to the music over the end credits because we hear David Arnold's.
Spotify will take it down.
We hear that.
Yeah.
That's bullshit, isn't it?
It's true. Like if you put any kind of
Oh, but hang on a minute. But what about music of Bond? Because they literally have Bond tracks all the way through their podcast.
I don't know.
They don't get pulled.
I don't know. Maybe they have a license fee. Maybe they're paying.
They don't.
Reach out to them. You know.
They won't have a license. They're just.
This
one's out there and wait.
Come on, music for Bond. How do you do it? How come
music of Bond, not music for Bond?
Sorry,
get it right.
How come YouTube?
But they're not on YouTube. That's the thing. They're audio only.
Yeah, well,
but if you say Spotify takes stuff down.
Well, Spotify got hold of me the other week and said from one of the old minutes. Oh, I think it was the title sequence. Yeah, Chris Cornell song.
Right,
said,
okay. And they didn't like that.
They sure as fuck didn't like it. No, I had to go all the way back down. I had to go all the way back and edit the fucker and take it out. Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, I know.
Well, then I don't know how they do it because they literally have whole tracks which they then discuss. That's why their podcasts are so long because they have whole tracks of the album.
I know it's a very good. I listened to the podcast. It's a very good podcast.
It is. So
I don't. Well, let's.
I
don't know. Do you know?
I will ask JW and Chris what their secret is and report back.
Do you know what I'll do? I'll ask Spotify as well. I'll be like, hey, how come you're not fucking flagging up these guys? They're playing entire albums over here.
Yeah, oh dear, we will be popular.
All right, Rob. I think that will do for that minute. I'll tell you what we'll do now. We're going to get to an insert. I spoke to Roland Hulme earlier. He, of course, is putting on the Golden Bullet Awards. I wanted to find out all about that. So here is Roland, and we'll see you on the other side. Got Roland Hulme on the line. How are we doing today, Roland?
I'm doing very well, thank you. I've got a nice cup of black coffee. I've got my cat sitting there. I'm chipper, and it's good to see you again.
It is. It's been a minute. Well, wanted to get you on the line, Roland, because we have the awards coming up. You, of course, being the host, the founder of the Golden Bullet Awards. Just dial it back because it's how long has it been going now? Has it been going? Is this the third year?
This is the third year. Oh,
Third
by the
year.
way, can you hear everything? There's someone mowing the lawn very aggressively outside.
I can, yeah, yeah. I've got you. Yeah, you can hear Roger as well. So we've got all the ambience going on for this one.
Absolutely. So yeah, the Bond Awards, 3 years it's been going. So it was 2 years ago. I love the fact that everyone's always creating Bond content, and I love it, especially now with all the crazy stuff going on in the world. Like you go to YouTube, and you can see Israel and Palestine and Ukraine and tariffs and deportations, and it's like, thank God it's David Zaritsky with his Aston Martin. I want to watch that video. There's Calvin Dyson doing a breakdown of like the world is not enough. I want to watch that video. I just think the content that Bond fans make is like that wonderful thing of escapism and peace in this world. But there are so many Bond creators, and we end up in our own little bubbles. And the bubbles are the people we watch all the time, and sometimes it's difficult to expand that. And I was like, what you could do is have like an award ceremony or award thing where people can vote for their favorite creators, and the real goal of it is just to introduce Bond fans to other Bond creators they might not otherwise have been introduced to. And that's like my overarching goal there. And so I did it in the first year, and I was like, oh, people actually pay attention to this. And there's next year it got like twice as big, and now it's kind of like 4 times as big. And it's nice though, because everyone's kind of positive. No one's getting pushy or aggressive. I'm not getting people like complaining about it, because it's just a made up thing that I've got. But it's really fun, and it's nice to like do something that people kind of seem to appreciate. So this year we're doing a live for the second year running. We're actually going to announce it live. So we've got people coming to this great little pub that I used to work at, and
oh, nice.
We're going to do a live stream, and it's going to be really fun.
And are you getting any of the Bond nuts down there? Will there be like a live audience as well of familiar faces?
There will. So you can actually buy tickets to attend. I've booked a room at this place, and we've got a buffet meal. We've got our own little cocktail thing, and you'll see a lot of familiar faces. Like David's going to be there, and Alex Sifu Lamas, and Joe Darlington being James Bond, and Ken Oceanographer. And so we're going to have like a lot of familiar faces, but we're trying to expand it even more now. So if you're a Bond fan and you live anywhere around New Jersey, then come and join us May 31st, 7 p.m.
Great. Listen, I'm going to tune in, but mainly because I'm in the same category that's been nominated with Joe Darlington, I think, for best podcast. Him and I are in the same bag for that, along with Spy Hard and really 007. I think I've got that right. I might be missing someone off. Sorry.
The competition is stiff. That's one of the stiffest categories.
So what I really want to see is for me or someone else to win, and the camera pan to Joe, and then all of a sudden the facade of Joe being the nicest guy in the world just drops for a minute, and he turns the table over and walks out of the place. Screw this guy, bloody award show. I'm joking. It's kind of built, I can sense that it's built more momentum this year. And you must be knowing that because of the amount of people that participate, nominate, and do all that. So you can definitely tell that it's getting some steam. Do you think people have a bit more confidence in it this time around? Because it's now an actual thing, whereas like first time around, like anything new, you think, oh, what is this? Do I need this in my life? But now it's like, oh, this is here to stay.
Yeah, I want to keep it going, and I want to say the thing I did differently this year. In the first 2 years, I kind of tried to do it all in December, and like we had the awards ceremony on like December 30th, and that was very rushed. Everyone had the holidays to deal with, and also there were people churning out content like at the end of the year that wouldn't get a look in. So I moved it to start off in April and May, because that way, all of the stuff from last year is done and looked at, and it gives you a clean slate to go through. And springtime is when people have a bit of extra time. So I've been able to extend the nominations process and extend the voting process. And we've got a nice event planned when people are going to be ready. So I think we've got more room to breathe now by not having it at the end of the year. And people are like, this is a thing. And it's kind of amazing to me. It's like, it is a thing, I guess.
Yeah, it's here to stay.
And it's not like we're not. Yeah, we're not making any money from it. We're, the prizes. I try and buy everyone like a Golden Bullet award. Last year, there were quite a few people who didn't get theirs yet, but I'm working on it. I promise. Uh,
Right.
but I
Well,
have 20.
you must be hoping that everybody in the room with you is going to win that award. I mean, you got to pay postage, you got to pay international shipping. God, that's crikey, Roland. I'm starting to feel for you. If anyone else wins, that's not in the room.
I know. Well, last year, fortunately, I think David won like 7, so that was easy. I was just like, "Here's a box."
Oh, yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, this year I think it's going to be different, and there are people all over the world. And so yeah, to send something to the UK these days is ridiculous. It normally costs more than whatever you're sending.
How about we just switch gears momentarily, Roland? I want to talk about writing because I think a lot of people might know you, but don't actually know a lot of your writing background. And you could perhaps just fill in a couple of gaps of what you're doing at the moment, what irons you got in the fire, what you're actually writing now.
So, yeah, I've wanted to be a writer my whole life. My mother was a writer, and my grandfather was like it's something that's in the family, and I love writing. The problem was when I started getting into writing when I was a teenager and stuff like that. I would send off books to publishers, and I get rejection slips, and I send off books to publishers and get rejection slips, and I got to a point where I'm like, listen, I want to write adventure stories, but do we really need another like middle upper class British guy? Uh, writing adventure stories. And so I was like, what can I do to do this? So I've always, believe it or not, I used to steal my mother's romance books, read them under the covers for all the steamy things. And I was like, I should write my adventure books as romance novels. And I started doing that, and I started publishing them as self-publishing as romance novels, and I've done pretty well with it. I've sold 70,000 copies. I've got reached 600,000 people on Kindle Unlimited. So there was I'm not there right there at the moment, but there was a period in my life where I was making a very, very comfortable income from nothing but the royalties I was getting from my books, and it's somewhere I plan to get back to.
Mm.
Um, but I love it, and I love writing. And I think what I enjoy about it is I always wanted to be a writer, and lots of people want to be writers and they write books and stuff. But I always wanted to be a writer who was able to make money from it, because I'm
Hmm.
like, I don't know, seeking validation. It's like why you always want to flirt with pretty women is to seek validation. And as a writer, if you can get people to buy your books and read your
Yeah,
books and enjoy your books, it's very validating.
yeah.
And that's why I enjoy writing romance. But I'm starting to go off and write other things and publish some of my books that I'm especially proud of in my own name, and just be nice. My kids have very little interest in it now, but maybe in 20 years' time, when dad's a doddering old man, they'll be like, oh, let me read this.
Do you have a goal that you need to get a book out every year, every 6 months? I mean, as this being your main gig and your main revenue, I assume, you got to try and hit certain targets.
Well, I'm very ADHD, so I actually have my fingers in a lot of pies.
Mm.
So it's like years ago, that big financial crisis we had in 2008, I got laid off from the job that I was working on then. And I was like, from that point on, I never want to be in a situation where if I get laid off from a job, I can't pay my mortgage. So I have lots of different things going on, but the one I'm passionate about is writing and books.
Mm.
And what I'm doing at the moment, more so than I am working on another book, but it's more about I'm trying to divorce myself from Amazon. So all my books are on Amazon, and that's
Mm.
normally, the big place to go. And I've actually created my own sales funnel, and I'm selling books directly to customers now. So I
Mm.
advertise them. I've got my own storefront and things like that. And I'm still trying to hammer out all the details. I've been churning, I've been cleaning my nose. I've been doing pretty well breaking even on that, but that's where I want to like be able to make a living from the books I've already written, and
Yeah.
then you can just relax and write the books that you want to write without
Oh,
having the pressure of having them all to be a success.
it's kind of a double-edged sword with Amazon because it's great in one way if you're an independent author that you can just write something and not have all of the pay all the capital up front. And you can just have your book, and if it takes off and explodes, then great. But I know that having written a couple of books and co-authored one with Matt Spacer, that the Amazon, if it just does okay, it doesn't really do okay, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It does sting you in the tail, and then you think, huh, that's the margin that I'm getting, and that's the share that Amazon are getting. And if I just self-publish this through my own means, and I'm at that phase where you don't want to sit on about 1,000 books and then just have them books rot away in the garage or in the loft in case it doesn't make a success. But at the same token, you think, crikey, if I just did that another way and backed myself a little bit more, had a bit more, confidence in what I was doing and promoted it the right way. Anyway, so I'm sure you've probably surfed that tide and now thought, right.
Oh, if you ever want to talk about writing and self-publishing and all those things, I could go on for hours.
Well,
And especially, I mean,
you got a podcast fully booked that you were telling me about offline that I presume deals with all self-publishing and goes into the weeds with all this. So I'm definitely going to go through some of that.
That's my mate Craig and I do that, and it's targeted at self-published authors or authors in general, and it's kind of nice because you get into the weeds there. Because I think it's wonderful. There's never been a point in human history where you've had the opportunity to write a book and put it somewhere where literally millions of people could read it if they wanted to, if you get it right and you get the marketing stuff. I mean, there's never been an opportunity. So if you have something that you want to write, now is the time to embrace that and do it.
Yeah.
And it's your legacy. You get to be immortal. I mean, your great grandkids could pick up from Taylor's with Love and be like, "Oh, look at what great grandpa Pete wrote," and it's great. Kind of, you stay alive forever.
That's why I'm going through and burning all of my old manuscripts and sending them to pulp because I don't want that. I mean, we'll get back to Bond in a minute, I promise. But I self-published one book talking about not wanting to sit on about 40 boxes of books. So I did that first time round, and it was like a semi-true memoir, and just it kind of had. I was reading a lot of Bukowski and things like that at the time, and
Love Bukowski,
Jack Kerouac. So it was all very self-deprecating, quite puerile, and self-published it and just sent it around. Gave it to a couple of mates, and I gave it to an ex-girlfriend at one point, and she replied with, "I don't know why you sent me this. This is just horrible. This doesn't even sound like you." And I was like, "Yeah, but it's not me really." But I was leaning on a lot of stuff because you write what you know and things like that. So you kind of take that stuff and then subvert it and just put a horrible slant on it, if you know what I mean, or a very pessimistic, drunken view on it. Anyway, so I've then my mum called me up about half a year ago and go, "Pete, I've still got a couple of those boxes underneath your bed of your book." And I fucking went down there later that afternoon because I'm not screwing this marriage up. I'm not getting, if Anastasia gets to read any of that. Anyway, so that's all been safely recycled now, thankfully. I mean, some people liked it.
I know. I imagine I would like it because what I like about you is you are self-deprecating. You're very honest. You're straightforward. You're authentic. Like, I like that. You come across as very real, and that's what makes Joe Darlington. There we go. Being James Bond, you're the guy who's up against for the podcast with you this year. He's re-releasing his book, Being James Bond, and I read that one a few years ago, and I really enjoyed it. And I enjoyed it because basically it was him writing about the stuff that he was doing. His first chapter was about doing the bungee jumping in Switzerland. Yeah, I read it. I'm like, I really enjoyed this, and I can resonate with it because it's like a Bond nerd going off to do something cool and Bondy, and like being straightforward about it. And I'm like, he's not pretending to be anyone. It's very authentic. And so, yeah, authenticity is really valuable when you're writing books. So I would like to read. If you still got a copy of that book that you haven't burnt yet, then let me know.
Well, I'll have to also get you to sign a waiver to make sure that it never hits the light of day. But you're very.
I have all the things I can tell Anastasia about.
Yeah, you're very sweet. Thanks. I don't know about you, but I sense that there has been a resurgence in Bond fiction as well and continuation novels. I guess in lieu of having films, in between Spectre, No Time to Die, and again, I mean, you see the likes of Kim Sherwood releasing books, Raymond Benson's making somewhat of a comeback, doing the Felix Leiter novels again.
I'm excited about that.
I am. I mean, does it feel like to you that, without a film to celebrate or anything shiny and new, we have to A, go back to the Fleming books, B, there'll be more continuation novels, and people are appreciating that more now?
I'm really excited by everything that IFP have done. I mean, I think everyone thinks I don't like them because they censored the James Bond books. And I have to admit, I have a copy of Live and Let Die from 1952, and it does have quite a lot of the N-word in. So I was like, maybe I should let that one slide a bit. But
there's a chapter with the N-word, right?
Yeah, there's in chapter 6. It's called N-word Heaven, which is But what they're doing now, I think, is that I really do think they are listening to the fans, especially with Raymond Benson. Because I remember I interviewed Raymond Benson a couple of times, and I've chatted to him, and I was like, "Oh, they need to write a trilogy of Felix Leiter books, and you need to write them." And he was like, "Ha ha 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 ha," and then it's like, "Oh, I see, you sly old dog." He's
Yeah.
going to do it. But I'm genuinely excited about that. There are like 4 reasons why people buy books, and one of them is it's got to have a concept you really like. And so the Felix Leiter Adventures, I like that. And secondly, you've got to have some kind of relationship with the author. And these books have those 2 things as like two of the really good selling points. So I'm stoked about that. And then Vaseem Khan is writing the Q Mysteries. And I'd never really heard of Vaseem Khan. I've now read a couple of his books. He does these wonderful books about this retired police officer who has a pet baby elephant and they solve crimes. And he's a terrific writer, but also he teaches cybersecurity at university level. So he is the guy who you'd want writing like the Q Mysteries. And Kim Sherwood, like I know that her books haven't resonated with everyone in the Bond community, but there are people who they have resonated with so deeply and like opened up the Bond world to a whole new audience of people. And I think that's just wonderful. And I really like the way IFB is like, okay, the Bond community isn't this homogenous lump. There are different segments in there. Let's create books for each segment and give those people what they want. And then we'll have like our core offering of a proper James Bond book.
Yeah. No, I agree. I was listening to uh, Bill Koenig talk to one of the gents
Yes, good old Bill.
from Spy Hards, and they were saying, look, they were talking about the whole Amazon takeover and all that to one side, but it's good news that we've got something else coming in the pipe because we need an injection of something to
Yeah.
stimulate the vehicle of James Bond, and whether that's people getting into video games, everyone needs a launch pad at some point, and we need to promote the youth of Bond as well, effectively, to give this like, it can't just be you and I, Roland, and everyone else 40 plus, whatever, just kind of rolling on, just talking about Bond for the rest of their lives. It's got to spin again, as it were. Listen, Roland, we're gonna run out of time, I'm afraid, on this call, but I did also want to ask about maybe so the novelizations of Bond. Raymond Benson did do those, and then
Yeah.
film came, and then he would do the novel of it, right? But don't seem to see that much anymore.
No, that is really interesting because when I was a teenager, I would buy the novels and movies. I still have somewhere like the novelization of Ghostbusters 2 and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
I had that
And
with Batman Returns too. I was banging to those Aliens as well. Yeah.
and I think maybe it's just because of the fact that, you don't need it was, if you were stuck at home and your parents couldn't take you to the cinema, this is what you could do.
Mhm.
You could read it and you could have that experience with that. And I guess these days, everything is so accessible. Most movies are out of the cinema and on streaming within a month. So maybe there's like not that need for it anymore,
Yeah, maybe that's it. Or
which is a
maybe,
pity in some ways. The books kind of like give you scope to expand.
yeah. I'll tell you what would happen is that you would you'd be going, right, Skyfall, such a good film, yeah. And then someone would go, hey, look, I've got a novelization of Skyfall if you want to read it. And you pick it up, and then you just look at your phone just for photos of Bernie Smollett and go, oh, that's more interesting. I think I'll just go for her entire IMDb photo page and just imagine that. Anyway, I don't know where I was going with that. That joke kind of coasted to a stop, Roland. Sorry about that. But Roland
Hume.
Hume. I got it right.
Yes,
First
you
time.
did.
Yeah,
Absolutely. My
Roland.
wife pronounces it Hulme because she pronounces the L. I think it's very, very glamorous the way she does that.
Yeah, she's going for every letter by the sound of it.
Yeah.
So listen, where can people find you, Roland, and where can people go to vote and see the streaming if they can't make the award show in person?
Right. Well, you want to go to my Instagram, I think, which is just my name, Roland Hume, at Instagram, and I will be constantly posting and bombarding people with when to vote, when to buy tickets, and once we get the live stream set up where you can go and enjoy that. So that is the best place for all my things. I'm not very organized with stuff. I just like throw it out there. I throw it against the wall and see what sticks.
Yeah. All right. But listen, I can't wait. It's going to be a lot of fun. Thanks for putting it all on. I know it's a lot of work doing events and whatnot. So can't wait. Cheers, Roland.
Oh, well, thanks a lot, Pete.
Roland there. Thank you, Roland. And of course, do feel free to put a vote our way for best podcast. Hey, Rob?
God, how short are those shorts? I can see practically everything.
Yeah. Well,
Good
I've got shorts under the shorts.
You've got like hot pants on today, Pete. What's going on?
Well,
You sit down there,
It's
get
got-
see your pants underneath.
it's got a little bit warmer, isn't it? I was working out
Jesus
earlier.
Christ.
I didn't have time to get any decent
Is
trousers
this so
on.
when you fart, it all comes out even
I know.
more? So
I want to give it the best chance possible to
Jesus
reach you.
Christ. Anyway, shall we get on with this
Look.
next minute?
The boys are back in the barracks. Don't worry about it. That's Alan Partridge line. Right, where are we? Well, look, I didn't do the advert earlier, so I've got to do it now. Propstore.com, yes.
Oh, yes.
Propstore.
Have they had their auction yet?
They've had the auction, but there are still James Bond bits and pieces that you
Did
can
the
buy.
Thunderball instruments get sold?
Yeah, I believe they did.
Ooh,
Yeah,
wonder
I
what
believe
they
they
went
did.
for.
Well, you can log on. In fact, if you want to go to propstore.com, you can log on and just sign up, be a member. That's free, and then you can go in and find out what they all sold for.
I bet David bought them.
You reckon?
Yeah, because Thunderball's his favourite film.
He loves it, doesn't he?
Yeah, I bet he's got them there in his room. So then when he watches the film, he can look across. Look, there they are. There are those instruments. That'd be very cool, actually.
It would be very cool.
I'd like to do that.
But you don't have any props or anything in your place, no?
I do have replica props, but not genuine original ones.
What do you have?
I have Solitaire's cards.
Nice.
The cheapest ones you can get.
Have you ever used them to woo a lady?
No. And I bought them in 2012 when they were for sale in the Barbican, when they had that big Designing Bond exhibition.
Oh, yeah.
I bought
Designing
them then.
Bond.
Yeah, because they were reasonably priced then. And then they came off the market, and then they came for sale again about 10 years later, and they were like 2 or 3 times the price.
How much are they now?
Oh, I can't remember. A lot. But they're still the cheapest prop that you can buy.
The only trouble is, I'll tell you what we need to do, Rob, for next week. You've still got the cards, you can bring them.
Yeah, I can bring them. What, you're going to do a bit of tarot?
No, what I'd like you... So are the cards all the same, the lovers?
No.
Oh, I thought you had all the lovers.
No,
so
no,
I
no,
thought,
of
what
course
I
not.
wanted you to do was just
No,
go,
no,
hey,
no,
look
no,
at
no,
this.
no,
And then
no,
you'd
no.
throw all the cards over
No.
and spill out like Bond did.
No, it's it's all the but it is the artwork from the film, so it's
Right.
got they've all got 007 on the back like you see in the film.
That's cool.
So
I
they
like
are.
that.
They
You
are.
should bring
I
them.
will bring them.
Bring
yeah.
them.
Yeah, I will.
All right.
Okay.
So that propstore.com. and this minute is brought to you by Wild and Heart. Yes, my favourite razor band. And razor band? Razor brand. That's why you got to write things down, Rob. Fucking hell. WH20. You can get 20% off these razors. They're British made. They're wonderful. I've just taken them to Florida, as I often do on my travels, and it's a classy touch to wet shave, isn't it, Rob?
I wouldn't know.
Yes, okay. Let's crack on, shall we, with minute 104.
Yep.
Bond has just cleaned out, well, everyone. What's he going to get up to in the next minute? Let's find out.
Thank you very much. It was all yours. Much appreciated, brother.
Congratulations.
You know, I think a celebration's in order.
You're almost dead an hour ago.
Come on. I'm famished.
Off he pops. Yes. There he is in the restaurant. Ba-ding. Vesper's got a message.
Mathis says the Americans have made contact with Le Chiffre. Looking to extract him before dawn.
You know, I think I'll call that a vesper.
Because of the bitter aftertaste.
No.
Oh, Rob!
Oh, fancy cutting off there.
Look, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
It worked.
Okay,
Yeah,
no.
the last minute worked really well, actually.
Yeah.
To be fair.
Yeah. It did. It just right. For you, brilliant. End of game. Now, Rob, takeaways.
Well, the first one is, how much did he fucking give the croupier?
Yes. I looked it up. Well, I didn't look it up.
500,000.
So I went to YouTube.
500,000 is dollars, isn't it?
I watched this on YouTube, this clip. And in the clip, someone asked that question. How
Well, they
much?
talk about it on the commentary as well. So,
Not on my commentary, Rob.
Well, there
Not
we
on
go.
my
This
bloody
they did on
commentary.
mine.
Did
so
they? So what
I've-
was the answer?
500,000.
That's nuts.
Yeah. So I've got it written down. Martin Campbell actually says he gives the croupier $500,000. He said, I don't think people even realise that watching the film that's what he's just done.
Yeah, well, especially as the reaction from the croupier is so nonchalant.
I know, thank you very much.
Yeah.
$500,000.
No, he didn't go, fucking hell, really, mate?
Right, run out. I don't need to stay here anymore. But yeah, that's really cool that he just chucks him. There you go. Don't need that. That's great. And the other bit in the restaurant, there's no other diners, are there? But that's because it's 4:00 in the morning. Of course, they've been playing all night, and I suppose that they've still got catering staff and waiters there, etc. Because this is the sort of thing that happens in a casino. If a big game ends at 4 in the morning, people want to go and have dinner.
Yeah. So they mentioned that in my Blu-ray commentary, Rob.
Yes.
On my DVD.
That's on the crew commentary. I don't think you've got the other commentary here now. You're missing that.
Yeah. I've got undersold.
You're going to have to go and buy a new Blu-ray before next week.
I'll get all the... well, I'll probably hang out for the 4K because they'll release all those, won't they? Like
it's
they
already
did
on
with
4K. You can already buy it.
Can I?
Yes.
Well,
the Daniel Craig box set. I have it.
They'll re-release them with new artwork, though, won't they?
No, they won't. Just go and buy the Daniel Craig 4K box set.
Just go out and buy
Get yourself a 4K telly.
Yeah, go split. I've got a 4K telly.
Have you?
I don't know.
I don't think you have.
No, it's quite old.
Yeah, no, I don't think you have.
Anyway, but in the Blu-ray commentary, Rob, Phil Mayhew, I believe, talks about this particular scene.
He does,
because he says, "Look, originally we had the other gamblers there in the dining room.
That's right.
I don't think Le Chiffre would have been there.
No, drowning his sorrows, sat in the corner.
Oh, what can you do? I had full house. Matey boy over here. He had a full house. Matey boy over there.
Could you imagine? Yeah. They'd be pointing and laughing at him.
No, I think the best get together that I always thought should have been is that because there's a day in between, right? They
oh yes, when they put the guy in the boot.
Yeah, imagine if they all go down to the hotel breakfast together and they're all having having buffet.
Oh, how funny!
How's your night? I said, bloody guys with machetes came at me. I was like, but they're all like there tucking into their black pudding, you know.
We should film that. We should write this and film it like the lost scenes. What happens in between?
Can you imagine Le Chiffre with his little plate and he's like, "Where can I sit?" And there's only one seat, and it's like, sit next to Bond. Across from him.
We share. Yeah. There's nowhere else to sit. Sorry.
So that's the world I live in. That's the scene.
That's the world I think everyone lives in, apart from Bond.
So there were going to be other gamblers there, but then Craig says, "Hey, wouldn't it be better if it's just me and Vesper?" I guess to allude to the fact, look, I've just won shit ton of money. I want to have a quiet moment, and maybe I bought out the restaurant, and maybe I've paid off people so that it's just her and I, in here.
Yeah, no, it's much better because it focuses on them.
Yeah.
And it is a great scene for these two.
Yeah.
Fantastic scene.
Yeah.
Very memorable. I've so many great scenes in this film.
I do think, though, imagine if you're the other actors, you've probably got all the dialogue written out, and you're there anyway because they were all going to be there because he lit. Didn't he? Phil Mayhew lit
yes.
The set or the location
he did.
for this to have the other actors.
He did, yes.
So there must have been like a dialogue page or something going on.
I guess so. I don't know.
But they've then gone, right, hold on a minute. I was going to get another 3 minutes of camera time, and fucking Daniel Craig has just whipped the rug out from underneath.
Well,
that.
I don't know if this was on your commentary, but on my commentary, Daniel Craig suggested that Bond would have bought the restaurant for the night out of the 115 million.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, anyway, but what about Vesper's text sound? I want to talk about Vesper's text sound because I've been trying to get that text sound and I can't find it.
Do you know it's probably... Well, I know the ringtone you can get.
Oh, really?
Yeah, ringtone. Yeah, the Nokia ringtone.
Oh, okay.
Is it a Nokia?
Yes, I think it is. Yeah.
Because it's on Bond Lifestyle, or is it James Bond Lifestyle.com?
Right. The phone, the actual phone that she has.
So there's an audio file that you can download with the ringtone. So with the ringtone.
We need to get the text, though, because that's the one that's really distinctive that you hear.
Right, yeah,
I don't even remember hearing a phone ring.
No, it must have been Bond's phone that rung.
Yeah, because her text, you hear it at least twice in the film, because you hear it in the hotel room in Venice later on. It just goes bing, doesn't it? And it's like, oh,
I'll figure this out.
I want that on my phone.
I know there's a ringtone you can download because I went to Remet's page.
Okay, well,
bondlifestyle.com.
And let's put it out to the listeners. If any of the listeners can help and they know how I can get that text tone on my phone, I want to know.
And then, Rob, I will allow you to have your phone on during these.
Yeah.
So the amount of times your fucking phone goes off. It's just an alarm for the bins.
It's just got to have my Vespa sound. My
like
little
it.
bit of Bond in my life. But that's quite nice having
So
that.
when she gets that message, that's not from Mathis, would you say? She's saying,
I thought it was from Mathis.
No, well, she's saying the Americans have made contact with Le Chiffre or something like that. But if that's true, then they would have taken Le Chiffre and they've got Le Chiffre already. I think it's a double play. I think she's got that message from Le Chiffre saying,
Le Chiffre.
Give me a minute, bring him out to the front.
Yes, of course.
Because she gets a second message later on going, oh, it's Mathis. Mathis needs me or something like that.
Yes, of course.
So I just think that first message is
but what about, hang on a minute, but what about Felix? What's he been doing? Because he says he's all yours. So has he just been arsing about and not getting his act together?
He's going out on the town.
What's he been doing? He's like, he needs to go and fucking pick him up.
Yeah, exactly. What's he been up to?
Yeah.
Bloody,
I don't know.
Bloody Felix.
That doesn't make sense, does it?
Yeah, what happened to Felix?
We just leave him in the bar,
he goes,
looking smug.
He goes, he's all yours. And he's like, thanks, brother.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go out whoring for the night, but I'll get him in the morning.
I'll get him later, yeah. Exactly. I mean, that must be what he's done, because he just fucking takes his eye off the ball and loses him.
Rob, I think that's probably all we have.
I think we've done that minute to death now.
Oh, no. I've been to that restaurant. I wanted to tell you.
Oh, have you?
Yeah. Shall we save that for the next minute?
Yes,
yeah,
because
we're getting on. We're getting on, aren't we?
Yeah.
All right, that's it. Well, what do we have? Oh, we got some. Let's get some listener mail, shall we, Rob?
Do you have any messages for me?
I have a small surprise from your friends back at the barracks.
Excellent. We have been granted an audience.
Whoa, what have we got here? We have a message from Tom Sears.
Oh, really?
James Bond Radio. Yeah.
Oh, bless him.
It's a question for you, Rob. How is Rob's garden coming on?
Is that a joke or is that a genuine question, I wonder?
Wow.
What's that got to do with Bond?
No, look, you brought up gardening. You said you've got a big garden and it's...
Oh, I see.
You said your garden is capable of being a villain's garden.
I don't
it's so
remember saying
copious
that.
And
Did I say? I don't remember saying that.
I think you did.
I said I like to watch Gardener's World.
I think you said, I've got a huge garden. I could be a villain. That was it. We were discussing how we were going to be villains. And you said, I could be a great villain. I've got a massive garden.
That's not a massive garden. It's not that big. It's not like fucking acres.
Oh, you're getting modest now, mate.
No,
Sorry.
not.
Anyway, how is it? How's the garden?
Well, actually, since Tom asks, I've had a shit time with the tulip bulbs.
Oh.
Hardly any of them came up, and they were very expensive. And I had to pay the gardeners to plant them all in the rockery and in the tubs, and only about a third of them actually came up. So it's really shit.
Oh.
And I think the problem is they come from Amsterdam.
Yes.
Tulips.
Yes. Yeah.
As in referencing Diamonds Are Forever.
Sure,
There is a Bond connection.
Very good.
Yes.
Nicely worked in.
Yes. What can I bring you back from Holland? A diamond? In a ring? Would you settle for a tulip?
Yes.
Yes.
Her face.
It's sweet, isn't it? Yeah. That lovely uniform. But yeah, no, they all come from Holland, these tulip bulbs. And apparently last year they had a really bad year for tulips. So a lot of them haven't been as big as they should have been, and they just didn't come up. They didn't flower. So that's what happened. So it's been really shit. So there you go, Tom.
Oh.
And only half of my rhododendrons flowered, because the other half flowered in fucking October when they're not meant to. So I had like half a flower, which is rubbish as well.
So is there any chance that they might make a comeback? They can come later?
What, the rhododendrons? I think they're fucked forever now. But they're just like flowering halfway through the year when they're not meant to. I don't know. We'll see. The tulips have all gone now this week. I've replaced... Well, my gardener has replaced them with geraniums and verbena.
Okay, Rob.
So it's all looking nice and summery now. So, Tom, you'll have to come round. Doing a JBR meetup in July. Get your ass over.
Let's do it. I like the fact that you said you don't have a large garden, but you do have a gardener.
Well, yes, to help me, because I can't do it all. It's far too much work.
Yeah, but you only need a gardener when you have a huge fuck-off garden, Rob. You don't get a gardener around to just do your...
Well, you've got a gardener. This isn't very big.
I don't have a gardener.
Well, you did have.
Yeah, I fired him.
I know you did.
He was shit.
It's a question of time.
All right.
I don't have the time.
Listen, thank you, Tom. If you want to write in with a question, there will be bond@gmail.com.
Ask us anything you like.
Leave a comment on the YouTube video, because we put the audio up on YouTube if that's easier, or Instagram. We'll figure it out.
And I think you should also leave a 5-star review on iTunes. It helps people find us. If you want to support the show, you know.
An honest 5-star review, Rob.
Yes. That would be nice. And if you want to support the show, keep the lights on, there's always Patreon.
Yes. We'll record the Patreon show after this. It goes out every week. It's exclusive. And no one signed up this week, so no one gets a welcome, James.
Oh, dear.
But we do have a couple of people to thank. They bought the maps, Rob. Yay. So James Morgan, Lloyd Nance, Patrick Zarate, John Tony, Robert Shepherd, Stephen Campos, and Andrew Hoggard. You all bought a London Bond map, so you all get a thank you from him.
Oh, thank you, 007.
And does that mean Lloyd Nance is coming to London because he lives in America?
Sounds like it, yeah.
He'll have to let us know and we can meet him for a drink.
Definitely.
Not at Duke's.
Definitely not at Duke's. There we go, Rob. Shall we call time on this? We're going to do the Patreon show. And the Patreon show, there will be more Bond, is what it's called. There will be links in the show notes. Click through. It's only about £4.50 a month. And like Rob says, it helps us wet our beaks a little, get something out of this.
It does. And we've got the book reviews, haven't we, that we do on there, that we release early
on the YouTube.
The Patreons, yeah.
Oh yeah. We release early YouTube videos, so early access both to the free show and both to the YouTube videos. So we try and give as much as we can. We have gone on. Let's wrap it up. We'll see you on the other side.
Ciao.